Pellet smokers like this Camp Chef Woodwind Pro and or my new Lone Star Grillz El Fuego Trio both claim to offer maximum real wood flavor without giving up any modern pellet grill convenience. But who smokes it better? Today, we're finally gonna find out. I have a bit of a bone to pick here. It's not that I don't have full respect for Camp Chef and the Woodwind Pro being one of the first mainstream grills to acknowledge that you can get more flavor from burning wood than you can pellets, and coming out with an innovative firebox solution to help incorporate more smoke flavor. I absolutely love that, and I said that in my review. I also appreciate that they value sort of creator cost and effort. They're one of the first brands to offer to help cover the cost and production costs of making that video, and they never asked me to say anything about a head-to-head comparison. And so I don't know where maybe other comparison videos have gone off the rails, but I will say, in years of testing, if I put this against small backyard offsets like my Oklahoma Joe's Highland, things like a Gravity Series smoker, and or even sort of an affordable Z-Grillz pellet grill with a supplemental smoke tube, I've never achieved some of the fantastical claims circulating around the Woodwind Pro. Note of disclosure, Camp Chef did send me this grill, and way back when, several years ago, did pay for some content. And while I have purchased a Lone Star Grillz adjustable charcoal grill, I was given the opportunity to try this one at no cost, which is an adjustable charcoal grill on this side and a Lone Star Grillz pellet grill on this side. So hopefully all cards on the table here, we can do a fair, unbiased review, and I'm gonna try and focus just on the facts, not only the taste buds here, to help you make an informed decision. If we could do a taste test with 3 or more people, I think it gives us a compelling insight. But I've learned over the years, not all taste buds appreciate the same things. And so while we're absolutely gonna smoke up what I think will be some delicious ribs, I'll share my thoughts and opinion. We're not gonna use that alone to decide any sort of taste test verdict. So let me go into a quick overview of each of the grills, as well as the game plan, how we're gonna find out who smokes it best when it comes to premium backyard pellet smokers. Let me give you first a crash course in each grill, starting with the Camp Chef Woodwind Pro. And acknowledging the apples and oranges differences here, I don't want to gloss over the fact that these are not directly comparable. In order to pull that off, we wouldn't want the 24-inch model, we'd want the 36. And instead of my El Fuego Trio, which is 4 grills in one, including Lone Star Grillz pellet smoker, we would want just the pellet smoker. But I'm gonna focus on how they actually perform in each of their individual functions, as well as the same features that are available in the larger Woodwind Pro and or the dedicated pellet grill, and sort of forgive any of the fact that I can't get the most comparable grills in the backyard to do a head-to-head comparison. But the too long didn't read version, if you are brand new to what Camp Chef and Woodwind Pro aim to bring to the market, is first a grill that tries to solve for some of the problems that people were complaining with pellets, which is a lack of smoke flavor. And there was 2 innovations that sort of showed up here first in the mainstream market, which is a smoke setting in terms of being able to ramp up more smoke, but predominantly the most talked about feature is the innovative smoke box, where we can add chips, chunks, pellets, or anything like that directly over the hopper. And I've got some footage here when the grill is disassembled, and you can more easily see what's going on in terms of supplementing extra wood smoke to whatever it is that you may be cooking. One of the downsides of this philosophy, though, is we've increased the amount of barrier between our fire pot as well as our main cooking grate. So when it comes to things like being able to sear a steak, I did a test in my unboxing review of this, where I put a cast iron pan, let it get fully heat soaked to maximum temperature, and I'll put the exact numbers up on screen, but we were not able to get incredibly hot for a sear. So instead, what Camp Chef brought out is this sidekick accessory with a propane burner, so you could go from smoking to searing a steak on a cast iron surface to try and solve some of these issues. Like many other grills in this space, they also have a different philosophy, if you will, in terms of how they are cooking our food. Like a Kamado style grill where you've got your fire and then your food sitting directly over the fire. This is also true in many modern pellet grills, including Traeger's, as well as the Woodwind Pro, where our fire pot is sitting in the center directly below our food. And we are using some exhaust vents on the back in order to draw air up and over multiple cooking racks. Grills like Traeger, Camp Chef, or even Masterbuilt and Gravity series all approach their grills this way, which is to reduce the footprint of the grill and try and still hit large square inches in terms of cooking real estate by going vertical versus horizontal and taking up more space in your grill. The Lone Star grills, on the other hand, Chris and the team at Lone Star Grills also make offset smokers, and that's evident in their design, how they approach not only adjustable charcoal grills that I first bought, this El Fuego trio, and more specifically for this comparison, their pellet smokers, which all act similarly to how an offset behaves, where you can see exactly is what we have going on right now, where we have our fire on one side and our exhaust vent on the other side, just like you would have on an offset. And this philosophy, I know maybe not as exciting to everybody, but I'm geeking out on it because this actually matters a lot in terms of how and why some food ends up tasting completely different depending on the type of cooker that you use. If you're using a bottom heat cooker and all that food is coming up from conductive energy, where you've got hot grates and or a hot plate, a hot charcoal fire, or a pellet fire directly below your food, you're cooking predominantly with conductive energy, and then you're relying a little bit on things like convection airflow as well as any radiant energy. The philosophy that offsets are most famous for is their convection airflow. There's a ton of beautiful moving smoke through them and very little conductive energy in terms of heat coming up from below. And as they're made out of metal tanks, not as much a radiant energy as some other backyard pits. And this philosophy is what comes up in the approach that the Lone Star Grills team is applying to their pellet smokers. I've covered this grill as well as the technology behind the pellet grill side of what Lone Star offers, so I'll put a quick recap up on screen versus reading through all the bells and whistles in terms of the specs, how they approach their ceramic igniter, removing ash and everything else that goes in between. But the key features here that I want to highlight, especially as we just talked about the Camp Chef, is a different philosophy to solving some of those common problems. On the Camp Chef Woodwind Pro, I mentioned one of the trade-offs of putting the smoker box directly over the hopper is it reduces the ability to get a sear worthy of any steak in the cook chamber, and we solve that problem with the Sidekick propane grill. Chris and the team at Lone Star approaches this differently, where we have a sliding heat deflector, and then we could drop in a steak sear grate and sear directly over the hoppers. That's a one-touch operation. They also have a different approach with their smoke box, and this accessory is much loved in the online community, and one of the biggest frustrations in years past is that it was only available on brand new models, including grills like my El Fuego trio. But just this year, I saw in my email or newsletter recently that this is now a standalone accessory that I believe you can add to any cabinet and or Lone Star pellet grill and get the same benefit of exactly what I'm showing here, where normal wood size splits, and I say normal wood size splits in terms of what I'm using in backyard sized offset smokers, so you're a couple inches in diameter and sort of under 12 inches long in order to run an offset smoker in your backyard without going nuclear. These are the same splits, no modification, no wood splitter or chainsaw or anything needed. If you've got a fuel source for your offset, you can use the exact same wood splits in the Lone Star grills. So that's a quick crash course in the two approaches and philosophies of these grills without totally getting lost in geeking out on some of the details. So now I'll give you a quick catch up on the montage of getting the ribs ready, seasoning them, getting our two grills fired up, and when you rejoin me, we'll get the infrared camera out and take a look at the heat signatures inside each of these two grills and see if it can reveal anything that our eye can't otherwise see what's going on in terms of how and why our ribs may look and taste different later on. Well, if you weren't paying really close attention to all the bones in the cook, I'm not sure the naked eye could spot a lot of differences between these two ribs. They both look really good. So I'll give you a bit of a hint. We'll look at the bottoms here. So like earlier, this is the Camp Chef Woodwind, and I think the only telltale sign is a little bit of a darker color on the bottom than what we have on the Lone Star Grillz. But just looking at the top, I don't think you would be able to pick these two apart in a crowd. Let's get a couple bones, dive in for our taste test. Nice looking smoke ring. Looks really juicy. Hopefully that comes through on camera. The lighting always gets washed out, but in real life, that looks like a nice rib. I don't know if that's coming through on camera. We definitely have a smoke ring, but there is a difference in the pronunciation between the Woodwind versus Lone Stars. So far, that's just something you can see, not something you can necessarily taste. Pellet grills always produce a good smoke ring, if not light smoke flavor. So let's get these arranged, take some pictures for you. All right, best part of the day, at least for me, is the taste test. But remember, we are not using this to pick a winner. I have a couple thoughts we'll come back to once we bring this all together, but it'd be crazy not to try them, right? So let's start here. So we have the Woodwind ribs. Cheers. Tastes good. No complaints. You give me that rib, I'm a happy guy. That's good. Especially when you're not comparing to anything. Always harder to draw any sort of conclusions. Let's do the Lone Star rib. Okay. I said we aren't gonna do it. We gotta talk about it, especially this. So what did we learn? Well, starting with what our eyes can see, on the outside, looking at the top of the ribs, I think if I spun around and you mix them up, I'd be hard pressed to pick them out. And I even saw just a few minor differences between the two racks themselves, but we're splitting hairs on the surface. The next part that our eyes could see a difference is on the bottom, and I mentioned that earlier. That's just going to be a practical consideration of heat on the bottom versus any offset, whether it's a pellet offset or a traditional offset where the air is being drawn over it. That's about it for the eye on the outside. It wasn't until we got our knife out and sliced in that we can start to see a pretty radical difference with smoke ring. So there's a couple factors that go into smoke ring, and I'm using the same type of fuel. So we've got no difference in terms of the pellets as well as the type of tree that we are using for wood. So the only difference comes down to a few things. First giveaway was with the aeronometer. As you'd expect, these are both fan-powered units, so they are moving air whether you want to or not. Some grills that I've tested without fan assistance, I did one recently on Weber Smoky Mountain, and I don't even think I could get my aeronometer to pick up any airflow coming outside of the top of the Smoky Mountain. It's just not moving a lot of air, and convection air is critical to the proper Texas offset experience. And in both of these units, we've got some assistance from a fan. What I didn't expect though is the amount of air volume difference moving outside of the back of my El Fuego Trio. And again, this is just one of Lone Star's models. This is not apples to apples comparison. Anytime we had a bigger cook chamber, I suspect there would be a difference, but it is some data where we are nearly 3 times more air being moved in convection cooking through my Lone Star Grillz El Fuego Trio. The next data point that we can pull on is what do you see with an infrared camera? This is telling us where our hot spots are, and you don't need a degree in rocket science to figure this one out. When you've got a burn pot sitting directly below, even if it is a nice metal heat shield, you're going to see that circular hot spot with a bit of a cool area around the outsides, and that's maybe exactly what contributed to the bottom of our ribs getting a little bit more well done than what we observed on the Lone Star Grills. When I took the same infrared camera to the Lone Star Grills, you can naturally see the hot spot exactly where the fire and the wood splits are burning, and then a nice even cooking zone, the entire cooking grate. I wasn't seeing really any gradient difference, meaning we have a nice pocket for cooking. And comparing this to other backyard offsets, that's about the same size that you get, about 24 inches in terms of useful cooking space on a small patio offset in terms of if you manage in the firebox, as well as on the collector side where you get a bit of a heat rainbow effect. So that gives us some great data to go along with the taste buds. And I mentioned, I'm not going to use the taste buds for drawing this conclusion. What I showed you here earlier is the volume of wood. I kept track of how much wood we burn. I went through exactly 6 of these wood chunks and 4 wood splits. And I hope it comes through as clear on camera. I've said this before, using the muscle car analogy of there's no replacement for displacement. Well, in the case of barbecue, fuel is flavor. And the more fuel you burn, the more flavor that you get. And so any of those reviews, I'm again a little bit skeptical, given Camp Chef has been a very kind brand in supporting with sponsorship dollars. When I see a video come out and it has a paid promotion and it's all about, for example, the Camp Chef, and then the next video is a comparison against Lone Star, and the Camp Chef wins hands down, I would just say, I'm not saying it's a bad grill, but in any of my tests, whether it's a backyard offset, a gravity smoker, or what I see here today, the results aren't close. But that's not to say I don't respect what it's doing, in the sense that it's acknowledging we can get more flavor from wood fuel. I just happen to think the team at Lone Star, based off their offset experience, the firebox that burns real wood splits packs more flavor into a pellet grill. And if you're asking, James, you're talking about an offset a lot, I've done a direct head-to-head comparison against this grill and the adjustable charcoal grill that I own. And even though they were close, I still found that it came out ahead. And the exact same math held true, but in reverse, where my adjustable charcoal grill burned more wood splits than what I was able to burn with the El Fuego Trio. So I think this story here of more fuel equals more flavor holds up. So I can't speak for maybe what some of those other reviews are smoking, but in my opinion, it's not good old smoking wood. And I hope that this gives you some data insights, even though we are a bit of an apples and oranges comparison. I appreciate that everything that we've covered, whether it's price, versatility, capacity, mass retail availability, or handcrafted craftsmanship made in Texas, will appeal to different people on different scales. I'm glad I live in a world where there are both options and people can find the right grill for them to share amazing barbecue with their friends and family. But as far as I'm concerned, this debate, I'm closing the chapter. The Camp Chef Woodwind Pro may have started this book with wood splits. Right now, I think Lone Star Grillz is finishing it off with the last chapter. That's it for today. I'm James from Smoking Dad Barbecue signing off. And remember, don't be afraid to fire it up.